Well, this is now a pretty familiar location, Corfe Castle, and I've here just a few weeks ago, and the reason that I have come back, excuse me a moment, having to hand hold my camera, the reason that I've come back is that, well, tonight and tomorrow are the peak nights for the Geminid meteor shower. We've got a clear weather window sort of between well, after blue hour until about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, when a weather front then moves in. And that way, due south roughly, broadly speaking, is where the radiant point for the Geminid meteor shower will be. But this time I want to capture some longer meteors, and so I want to do that either behind me or kind of more in that direction. And so my thinking is that actually I will point the camera in this direction towards the castle, where hopefully with a nice wide angle view, kind of more like that really, with a nice wide angle view, I should hopefully capture some longer meteor trails in the sky. But here we are, this is Corfe Castle, and I'm going to head back to the van in a moment and grab myself something to eat before heading out after dark back to this point, and hopefully grab some nice shots. I'll be here for quite a few hours, so I'll have to bring some fuel with me in terms of something to eat, something warm to drink as well. Right, good evening. Here we are at the castle, and it's actually lit up tonight, which I don't think it was last time I was here from memory, so I'm going to take advantage of that while I can. I'm not sure how long the lights will stay on, so I'm going to get the foreground shots taken as quickly as I can, because I don't think we're going to have a very big window in terms of stars showing or meteors. So it's due to cloud over. What was originally forecast to be about a 4-hour weather window, it's narrowed to something like about an hour or so. So I'm going to have to work quite fast, which is going to mean not an awful lot of stuff to video, I'm afraid. Well, unfortunately, this is a bit of a disaster, because these lights on the castle, which weren't there last time that I shot here, are so bright that anything resembling sensible settings for capturing meteors is just massively washing out the sky, and we're just not going to get anything unless they turn these lights out. And I've only got a narrow window of weather, and I haven't really got time to go and find another subject. I might just literally turn the camera around the other way and shoot towards Orion and that side of the sky, and maybe have some of the village in the foreground, because unfortunately this is just not going to work. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, taken at f5.6 ISO 3200 for 15 seconds. And this one ISO 3200 at f2.8 for 15 seconds, and it's just, you can just see it's just completely blown out. The castle, the sky is washed out. You've got these ridiculously bright lights showing, and then if I go down to something that doesn't look quite so washed out, the stars just disappear gradually, and so we're just flogging a dead horse here. I just can't believe they've got these lights so bright. There's just so much light pollution. It's not true. Right, okay, this is just, unless they turn the lights out, there's no point photographing that. I'm literally going to turn the camera around the other way. Hello, this is Future Nigel here. I thought I would interrupt this video with just a little bit extra. I'm away at the moment up in York, trying to help out with some family illness, and hence it's been quiet for a while. Anyway, nevertheless, back to Corfe. I don't know about you, but I am not one of those photographers who likes to easily be defeated by circumstances. So having got the images uploaded to my computer back in the study, I decided to see what I could make of this very heavily bracketed set of shots that I took. I think something like 8 to 10 shots were needed to cover the level of crazy dynamic range within that scene. And it took quite a lot of processing. Took me quite a while to sort it, but I think it has been worth it. And in fact, when I posted this particular image on my Facebook channel, it has been one of my more popular images. And so, for what it's worth, here it is. Well, this is one of those times when you don't know whether to laugh or cry, really. By the time I got things set up to take pictures around the other way, pointing towards Orion, guess what? Yes, they turned the lights out on the castle. So, but unfortunately, the foreground shots that I took were going to be slightly differently positioned. I'm going to have to try and set it up again somehow. Well, I have decided on a bit of a change of plan. What I've done, I've set up the one of the bodies, the Z6 Mark II bodies, with a 20mm f1.8 lens to continue shooting towards the castle, and we'll just see what we get. I am shooting completely away from the radiant point of the Geminid Meteors, and that's deliberate because I wanted to try and capture some longer meteors. I've seen a couple of meteors, that's all. Not seeing loads and loads, which is a bit of a surprise. I expect to see more by now. Anyway, that said, what I've decided to do, because Orion in the opposite direction is so clear and so bright today, I'm going to set up my move, shoot, move tracker. And I mean, I haven't got a particularly wide lens for that, but I do have my 24 to 200, and that because I quite fancy taking this at something like maybe even 70mm, 50mm, something like that. Which is going to be really quite a narrow aperture for this kind of photography. But that said, with the move shoot move tracker, I do stand a reasonable chance of, with a long enough exposure, being able to capture both some meteors in the image, because it'll be quite a long exposure, and also getting a fairly clean shot as well of Orion, and the Orion Nebula ought to be reasonably visible. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to have a try. Okay, so far I have set up and leveled the tripod with my leveling base, and I've then put the wedge on top, and that is roughly oriented towards north. So the next thing is I'm going to put the move shoot move tracker itself on. Okay, and then I am going to grab my laser, my Allen Wallace Z mount. Let's pop that one on there. So all I'm doing at the moment is try and give myself a reasonably level base on which to mount my ball head, and then we're going to put our laser pointer on here. That's it. That's better. Okay. Right, I'm going to have to turn my head torch off now. Well, there you go. I am now set up for 2 time lapses. I don't know whether this is going to be worth doing or not. I've got a time lapse set up on Orion, and I've set it up so that it's not. I'm on about 35 mils, so I've just about got Orion in the frame. So I'm going to be pretty lucky if if a meteor happens to be bright enough to show up in that frame. But you never know, do you? And if you don't try, I mean, it's going to take about 100 shots, 30 seconds a piece. The ISO is the trouble with really long exposures. Future Nigel here, interrupting myself once again. And this time because I'm about to go into an extended waffle unnecessarily about some settings here. I'm going to simplify it. Basically, I'd set my ISO too low. This is because even though you might have a long exposure, a meteor is in the frame for only a very transient moment, and so you might have a 30-second exposure, but the meteor is only in it for maybe half a second. And that means you need a higher ISO to make sure that when that meteor appears, you capture it brightly enough. And so I changed my settings to increase the ISO to allow for that. In sky, why don't I do that? Let's have a go. So, yeah, it's been an interesting evening. Really not sure I've got any images there with the castle with a meteor on the quick review that I did, but then it's just, you really can't tell until you get them out on the computer. Now, tomorrow I think will be more interesting. I think today was a bit of an error coming here because one, I hadn't realised that the castle was going to be lit up as brightly as it was. That was just crazy. So that kind of threw me. And that kind of messed up all my kind of foreground versus sky shots and all that kind of stuff. On the positive side, the sky was clearer for longer than I expected it to be. But, you know, I've got a lot of very samey looking shots of Corfe Castle. Now, tonight it's the 13th to the 14th, so we're now past midnight, so it's now the 14th. We're not quite yet at the peak. We've got about 30 something meteors per hour at the moment, so every other minute maybe I would see one, and that, to be honest, that's probably been about my experience. Well, probably less than that because I'm only looking at part of the sky. Tomorrow I have greater hopes. Firstly, the forecast is for a much longer period of clear sky, and I'm going to go right to the coast, so I'm not going to have an issue with light pollution, and I'm going to photograph looking towards the sea probably, but with St Elm's Head Chapel in the foreground, and I think that'll make quite an interesting subject. And hopefully then we may get some more meteors, because the night of the 14th, 15th, we're looking at up to about 110 meteors per hour, so about 3 to 4 times as many as tonight. So this is really going to be a bit of a two-parter therefore. So we've had part 1 tonight, part 2 comes tomorrow, when hopefully I'll have learned from today's lessons and I'll be able to apply those tomorrow. So I think I'm going to tidy everything away now, and I'll see you again tomorrow after I've caught up on some sleep. Okay, this is my final interjection into this video, and it's just to say I had so much content from this trip that I've decided to make a second video specifically relating to the trip that I made the following day to St Aldhelm's Head. So do join me for that one if you get a moment. It'll be a relatively short video, but look forward to you joining me then. See you soon. In the meantime, I'll just leave you with a few of the shots that I made from my trip to Corfe Castle. Thanks for watching.